Welcome to SimUK. Today I want to answer the following question. What do you get with an Oculus Rift? The Oculus Rift is a VR device backed and funded by Facebook. Now, I am not a fan of Facebook on any level, and I must be honest, this aspect rather swayed me towards the HTC Vive when I was looking for the right deal. However, there are numerous benefits to buying an Oculus Rift over the considerably more expensive HTC Vive and the somewhat limited PSVR. I've created a little chart here so that we can compare each aspect for all three devices and see which one comes out on top. So I've basically given a 3-tier score. So the best product will get 3 points, the second best will get 2, and the worst out of the 3 will get 1 point. If, however, any of the devices don't have the feature that I'm specifically talking about, they get 0 points. So let's take a look here. We can see that the HTC Vive is backed by HTC and Vive. I think that makes them the best company because HTC make quality products and Vive make quality games. That's open for discussion, but I think that they come in as the best of the pack there. Closely followed by PlayStation, and then finally Oculus Rift, who are backed by Facebook. Now, a lot of you out there probably like Facebook, but I hate it. I think it's a terrible thing, and therefore, that really put me off buying an Oculus Rift. I have to say, really put me off. In fact, that was the only reason why I didn't really want an Oculus Rift. I felt like giving my money to Facebook was a bad thing, and it probably is a bad thing. But all that aside, let's press on. Price. Now, clearly, the HTC Vive is the most expensive at $600 or even more in some places. You do get everything with it, but yeah, £600. That puts it squarely in last place in this particular comparison. The PlayStation VR, you can pick it up for £250, but that doesn't come with the hand controllers. We'll discuss that in a moment. The PlayStation VR comes first because it is the cheapest. You can pick it up for £250. That is the cheapest variant of each version. Facebook Oculus Rift you can pick up now for £350. It's going to go back up to £400, which is still cheaper than the HTC Vive, but considerably more expensive than the PlayStation VR. So for the base variant, the cheapest you can buy it, that's the scoreline there. Full room scale. Now, HTC Vive comes pre-packaged with that, so that is already there, which means you don't have to pay any additional for it. PlayStation VR doesn't have full room scale yet. They are adding it, but at this moment in time, it's not available, as I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oculus Rift, on the other hand, you do have to buy a third sensor, which will set you back another £65. So you might be wondering, why have I put Oculus Rift as 3 points and the Vive as 2? Well, if you add £65 to £350, it's still cheaper than the HTC Vive by quite a considerable margin. So in my opinion, that makes that the cheaper option for a full room scale VR device. Games included, the HTC Vive comes with a £20 Steam voucher, which is, I think, pretty disgusting. Almost a kick in the teeth, if I'm being totally honest with you. For £250, you get the PSVR plus 2 games and 8 demos. Demos don't really mean much, but at least you get something with your money, whereas the HTC Vive, you can maybe get 2-3 games at the most out of a £20 voucher, and they're not going to be the best games, so not that impressed. On the other hand, the Oculus Rift comes with 6 guaranteed apps/games, and clearly they're giving the best deal there in terms of games. Does it come with hand controllers? Now, this is something I accidentally stumbled over a minute ago. Yes, the HTC Vive comes with hand controllers, always has done, hence why the HTC Vive has been, reasonably so, the best choice up until Oculus Rift released their touch controllers mid-2017. PSVR in the £250 variant does not come with hand controllers, so you have to pay an additional, I think it's another £60 to get hand controllers to go with it as well. So I've put the HTC Vive in first place and the Oculus Rift in first place because they both come with hand controllers at their default base level purchase, whereas the PlayStation VR does not. Games on the market. There are lots and lots of games for the HTC Vive and for the Oculus Rift. Not so many for the PSVR, although a lot are coming. So I've evened the scores out there a little bit. But anyway, you can see that the scores work out that the PSVR is the least best value for money, closely followed by the HTC Vive with 12 points, and then out in front is the Oculus Rift with 15. Having said that, it's rather basic in nature, and I'm sure that you all have your own method of working things out. And although it looks close, I feel that the price difference between the Vive and the Oculus stands out a lot more than it shows here. Plus, you've got a lot of games that come with the Oculus, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But let's actually review the Oculus hardware-wise, and let me tell you what you get with this device. Before I bought my Oculus, I'd only ever tried a mobile phone VR experience, okay? So I'll be honest, I wasn't really expecting very much, and I have been literally blown away. It's not all wonderful, but my goodness, the good bits are so good that they are literally out of this world. It's amazing. Now, during my unboxing video, which you may or may not have seen, I laughed at the claim from Oculus that the earphones were an £80 pair of earphones that sounded like £800 earphones. But actually, they do sound absolutely bloody amazing. They are without doubt the most 3D earphones that I've ever used, and despite not covering your ears, the noise cancellation is just brilliant as well. Obviously, this aspect is highly dependent on the work carried out by the game developers themselves, but done correctly, this is immersive on an epic scale. It really ups the immersion level. Massive thumbs up from me for the earphones. They are very, very good. Not quite sure they're £800 worth, but yeah, they're pretty darn good. Finally released in mid-2017, we've got the touch controllers. These are also extremely impressive, and when I say extremely, I do mean extremely impressive. They are lightweight, they seem to have excellent battery life. I've had mine in for 3-4 weeks now, and there's no sign of them slowing down as yet. Probably touch some wood just to make sure they don't run out tonight. They are absolutely outstanding ergonomically. The second you pick them up, it instantly feels like a part of you. It's quite amazing, I must say. Furthermore, they have very, very sensitive sensors in them that provide incredible haptic feedback and details for games. There's a sensor in the index finger trigger, and it's so sensitive that you only have to touch one hair of your finger on it, and it registers as a touch. It is very impressive. There's another sensor in the grip trigger, that's the one on the handle. Again, this is equally as sensitive, and then there are two other sensors in the thumb rest. Two sensors in the thumb rest. Why are there two, I hear you ask? Well, I'll tell you. This is so, if you raise part of your thumb, like the middle part of your thumb or the tip of your thumb, but keep the rest still on the thumb rest itself, or vice versa, it doesn't really matter which way around you do it, but then the game can display that slightest flex in your thumb in the game. Now, to be honest, I have no idea what real benefit that offers, but I tell you what, it certainly makes you realise how immersed you are in the game when you notice your thumb moving in the game before you even realise you've moved your thumb yourself. It's quite a weird moment the first time you spot that. It's really clever. Then there are the sensors. Now, these are equally well built. They're robust, yet they're very light. They're simple and yet super, super capable, or so it seems. They each have a range of approximately 10 meters square, so two sensors can capture just about every movement you make. But for those times when you turn around and face away from the camera, we're talking room scale now, you do need a third sensor, and that can be added, as I said earlier, for an additional £65, and that will give you complete 360-degree tracking. Some of the very best games on the market do require 360-degree tracking. Well, they don't require it, but they definitely benefit from it. There's one game, a submarine game, Wolf Metal or something, I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, I'm going to be doing a review on that soon, so keep your eyes open for that. That uses 360-degree tracking, and I'm really excited to get my hands on that particular game. Finally, the headset itself. You'll find that it's lighter, noticeably lighter than the Vive, because it doesn't have the built-in camera that can display real-world objects within the headset itself. This is not necessarily a major issue, I have to say. As long as your play space is clear, you're pretty good to go. The two screens offer up a 1080 by 720 resolution for each eye, which matches all competitors, and unfortunately it's not full HD, but let's be honest, graphics cards cannot easily maintain 90 FPS at such a high resolution anyway, so this is kind of the best that we can currently do. Hopefully, and certainly I'm desperately hoping in the future we'll have full HD, because the resolution issue is a bit, it does grate on you a bit. Trying to read text and what have you is not great, and you can tell that it's not perfect. It's early days for me. I still need to tweak with my graphics settings and resolution and so on and so forth. A lot of people say that you can get very good results out of it, so I'll reserve judgment on that particular point, but just say that, it's not full HD, and yes, you can tell that it isn't full HD. Everything to do with the Oculus Rift has the most impressive build quality about it, and you can see that not only does it have really high build quality, but they have really thought about each individual part and spent considerable time deciding how best to implement what is required from that particular part. Hardware wise, I have absolutely zero complaints. Let's quickly run through the games that are included. Now, I said earlier you get 6 games / apps with the Oculus Rift. Technically, there are 6 games. There are 3 games and 3 apps that come with the Oculus Rift. But in tangible terms, there are actually at least 8, as the touch controllers themselves also come with the offer of some free games. Dead and Buried. This is a gun-touting, bullet-slinging funfest, which involves way more physical movement than you might initially expect. This is packed with features, multiplayer, and layers of fun. A really great game. Really great game. First Contact. This is the perfect introduction for those who are new to VR. It's safe, it's fun, and it's certainly impressive. Medium is a 3D sculpting app which allows you to fully and relatively easily sculpt objects as if you were moulding clay. It's both complex and incredibly powerful. I need to spend way more time with this before I understand it, to be honest. Oculus Quill is another complex app. It's more of an art app than Medium, and allows canvas paintings and storytellings to unfold. This is by no means a basic app. This is absolutely jammed full of features. Robo Recall. To put it mildly, this game will make you feel invincible, and at the very same time will make you petrified of the thought of having a world full of humanoid robots gone bad. This is high intensity and maximum fun. Toybox is, I have to say, the least impressive of the free games on offer. It is very limited, but it's great fun, especially for kids, and you'll get a few laughs and some smiles out of this one. Again, this is perfect for those people who are new to VR. Predominantly for the kids, but also for the grown-ups too. There is Lucky's Tale, a fantastic 3D hero's adventure story with a lovable main character and all the wonderful and interesting challenges that you meet along the way for your quest to save your best buddy. Kids will absolutely love this, but word of warning, be careful. This one can definitely bring on that dreaded motion sickness, so yeah, be warned. Farlands is another family-friendly, kind of Pokemon-like game that will amuse and wow in equal measure. Now, I have mentioned a few games here and a few apps here, all of which are totally free, and I must say the majority of them are of the highest quality. However, Oculus Studios have a bundle more games and apps that I have yet to even get my hands on. This is a bundle that will keep you going way beyond Christmas and far into the new year. Oculus are also releasing their new reworked VR interface over Christmas, and they'll be releasing the Rift Core 2.0 this December, so things are looking very interesting indeed on the Oculus Rift front. Recently, Oculus have reduced their recommended minimum specs from to an Intel i3 6100. This is instead of the previous recommendation, which was the considerably more expensive i5 4590, and GPUs can now start from an NVIDIA GTX 960 and not the previously mentioned GTX 970, which is what I'm currently running. And when has something like that ever happened? When has that ever happened? They downgrade recommendations. That just goes to show how much work they're putting into making this run better and just be more cost effective, I guess. So basically, guys, if you're thinking about buying into VR, be sure to check out my other video where I share all of the things that nobody is telling you about VR. Certainly for people who haven't tried VR before, that's a must watch before you go and buy. Hopefully you find this video interesting, informative, and maybe even educational, who knows. But whatever the case is, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And until next time, guys, take care of yourselves. Goodbye for now.